Well, just this week, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, met heads of some of the big churches. It also included both heads of the Orthodox as well as some of the biggest televangelists we have in our country. And just a day after, the newspaper report, if you look at what the analysis were, mainly reported issues of whether there was an agreement or some conferment based on the discussions they had about whether taxes should be imposed on churches. But the question has always been what items or specific activities of the church need to be taxed. The law is clear on that. We have an act that gives exemptions and also stipulates in clear terms activities, actions and items that should be exempted. But let's get a lot more clarity on the subject. And who best to give us those clarity than a tax person? And he's an expert in his own right. He's a consultant, but also has been in practice for over 20 years. He speaks to us sometimes, streaming to the studio or on the phone, when we have some of these niggling issues as to what clarifications we need to give on taxes. And Eric Amposa-Mwate is here this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
One thing I do know, though, when I started off as far as religion is concerned, I was baptized into the Catholic faith. I became a Catholic, and I always thought I would always have the Orthodox churches becoming some of the big churches around here. Of course they are, but now we have amalgamation of various church groupings, Latter-day Saints churches, etc. It's made Christendom very big, but also on the outside, they show a lot of opulence, show of wealth. It means the church has a lot of money.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
Well, okay, but let's move on more too. It also means that when there's more wealth, it means the church can contribute more by way of taxes to the national kitty. How does the current law we have take care of that?
Okay, thank you once again, and good morning to your viewers. The law, as it stands, when you take section 3 of the law, that's Act 896, it talks about incomes that are subject to tax. And there are 3: investment, business, and employment. So when you consider the activities of churches, all these 3 incomes are found in there. And perhaps I need to explain further. Most of the churches, they have church workers, even including the pastors, okay? And so under employment, those pastors have been employed by the churches, including the other staff. So they pay their PYE, they pay their SNIT, okay? Now, when it comes to investment, you and I know that some of these churches, they own properties for which sometimes they even rent them out. Some of them run transport businesses. Some of them even place monies with institutions for which they get interest. Okay. And when it comes to business that the church does, if you organize a musical concert, you bring in artists within Ghana and from outside Ghana. You charge some fee at the gate. It is business that the church is doing. And so for those incomes, the laws are clear. And so, in fact, yesterday, when I saw the front page of Daily Graphic, I said, this is misleading. Because, you see, it was as if they had gone to see the president, and the president was trying to convince them to pay. Already, the laws are clear. My problem is that we are failing to implement them. And so, as far as I'm concerned, nothing has changed.
Which sections of the law gives the GRA the impetus to be going after churches to say that these items, these actions, these services that you provide need to be brought or reining into the tax bracket?
Yes, it is section 3, which is clear. It mentions incomes that are subject to tax, as I've already explained. But you see, if you look at the law, section 97, okay, it gives the commissioner General the power to recognize those churches as charitable organizations. And the law is clear that the incomes of charitable organizations are exempt from tax. And so the issue is that when you mention a church or any religious body, what is its income? To my understanding, their incomes are basically offerings and the tithes. So for those ones, as the law stands, they are tax exempt. But if you look at section 97, subsection 2, it gives the Commissioner General, it says, generally, the Commissioner General may, for good cause or for contravention of a requirement specified in subsection 2, revoke an approval granted under subsection 1. You see, so what it means is that if the Commissioner General thinks that these churches, because they are charitable organizations, their incomes are tax exempt. They are tax exempt because they are of what? A public nature or character. And so if the Commissioner General thinks that a church is operating in a way that is in conflict with what we expect, then he can revoke it. Okay, so when he does that, then what it means is that fine, you can go ahead and do whatever that you want to do, but it is not in agreement with the approval that he has given for you to run the church. And so he can revoke that. And once that one is done, then it means that even the tithes and offerings will be subject to tax.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking that the way the tax structure is, or the tax law structure is, it's in such a way that it's almost modeled around the Orthodox churches or the structure by which they undertake their activities. But if you look at the church today, the church has gone beyond the Roman Catholic, the Evangelical Presbyterian, or the Methodist, etc. Now we have people who have callings and they set up churches. Those churches grow to become even bigger than those individuals.
Yes.
But they don't have a certain outlay of staff and other structures to meet some of the components as the tax law has espoused. How do we look at those nuances?
Yes, I agree with you. I think that all the hula baloo about the need for churches to be taxed, it's because of what you mentioned earlier on, opulence, their lifestyle, and all that. But it's when it comes to the Orthodox ones, they are well structured. I even remember that in the past, as a pastor, you have to probably walk, you'll be holding your bag, going to do evangelism and all that. So because of that, we were not too much interested in whether they are even being taxed. But now, like you mentioned, some of them own private jets, some of them, they have investment. And I'm sure that this issue has come up because of this. Because in the past, when everybody knows that Presbyterian Church, Methodist Church, like you mentioned, they are well structured. And when they want to, let's say, buy something, goods or whatever, they withhold. Okay, if somebody renders a service to them, these days you can even have a security company that takes care of the church, the premises, their property and all that. They pay, and so those ones are identifiable churches for which, everybody knows. What about the one-man church? Those who claim they have the calling. All the tithes and offerings, they go directly to him.
Now, let me just let me just stop you in the tracks.
Okay.
Let's say we have semblance of such institutions, as we call them, the churches.
Yes.
That person who has the calling from whoever and has that big institution is himself the accountant, is himself the legal person is himself the counselor and performs all those services. If it was in a bigger church, people would have been employed, etc.
Yes.
So how do we then delineate between which incomes are coming from mainstream, maybe people willingly giving, and those that are coming from services?
Yes. Thank you very much. You see, the idea is that for the well-organized churches, Presbyterian, Methodist, Anglican, and all those churches, the structures have been put in such a way that you can easily track their incomes. You can know who was paid what. If they even want to organize an event, you can easily go in there and then check all that. For the one-man church, it is very, very difficult. That is why I am happy with the introduction of the tax identification number. And about a month ago, I belong to Fanspem 83. Okay, there was a hold on our bank account. And then we went there and said, but this is a friendly old boys thing. They said, no, now the bank needs us to submit a copy of our registration documents. So I personally did that, went to Registrar General. And then because I'm an executive, they needed 6 of us. We had to produce our tax identification numbers. So Mobile 83 has a tax identification number, but it operates under a charitable organization.
Like the church?
Like the church.
Or an NGO?
Oh, no, it's not an NGO. It's similar to the church. Because when there's an issue maybe with a colleague, we make contributions, we pay. I mean, every month we pay some amount as dues and welfare. It's simply for our own welfare, okay? So, and it is similar to that of the church. The problem is that the one-man church business, he doesn't even register with the GRA. If he does, then the GRA will be able to track whatever that he's doing, because you see now, with the tax identification number, you cannot even transact certain types of businesses. When somebody renders a service to you, you're supposed to pay the person, and that is in the form of withholding taxes. And you even have to quote the tax identification number of the person who rendered the service. So once I click on your tax identification number, every institution that you are related to will show up. And so I think that it's high time that the GRA officials actually sat up and then do their work, because we see these one-man churches springing all over, and they make so much money. So I think that the idea is to get all of them on board, because like you mentioned, some of them, they've even become very, 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 very big than the Orthodox ones.
Let's take our own. This evening we have Adon Praise 2018. You know about it?
Yes. In fact, when I came in, I heard one ticket is selling for 60 Ghana cedis. I said, wow.
Only 60?
It's not only 60.
Okay. Now, Adon Praise 2018 is being organized by us, Multimedia.
Multimedia.
So it means that we'll pay the necessary taxes.
Of
right?
course, I'm sure you will.
But we're inviting Eben, an artist from Nigeria.
Yes.
I'm sure international recognition,
yes.
And how big is,
yes.
we'll pay him.
Yes.
Maybe ordinary, there are Ghana musicians to
okay.
pay.
Okay.
If the church organizes such a program,
yes,
it's a church activity.
Yes,
because there's prayer, there's worship, people will cry, there's prayer to God and
relieved and healed and all that. Yes.
And it falls under the activity of the church.
Yes, it falls under the activity of the church, but it is business. Business because...
But currently it's not,
because
it's not business in the church.
No, it is business, because the question I'll ask, why are you asking them to pay? Because other events have been organized that I have been there. In fact, last year, we organized Mobile Praise, okay, and it was free. Okay, so if it's free, and for me, I don't see any tax element in there. Even that one, there is a tax element in there, because definitely you would have to pay the... I remember we brought in one of our junior old boys. He came to sing and all that. I'm sure that MOBA National, he didn't do it for free. So MOBA National has to pay him. When they are paying him, because he is rendering a service for which he's being paid, we have to withhold, okay, and then pay to the GRA. But whether that was done or not, that one I cannot say that. But it is something that is already there in our laws. The problem is that GRA is failing to implement the law. Yes, that is.
Why is the GRA reneging or perhaps failing also to implement that aspect of the law?
Yes, because people think that the church is a charitable
or a sacred institution
organization, and then the kind of services that they render. Let me give you an example. I went to visit my mom last week somewhere in the Ashanti region. And then I go to my mom's bedroom, and there is a calendar of a nice pastor. So I asked, Mommy, why is this calendar? I said, here. If it hadn't been for this man, I would probably be gone by now. And I said, why? I want to know. And then she said, previously, in the night, she could hear noises. It's like some birds are perching on her roof and all that.
Psychologically, she could hear.
But she tells me that since she put that the calendar there, it has stopped. That is what she believes in. And then she even went on further and told me that, do you know there's this man I hear is very powerful. He's in Kumasi. It's a one-man church. I'm told the man is so powerful that if you want to see him like the way we've met one-on-one, you have to pay 500 Ghana cedis.
Is that taxed?
That has to be taxed.
How?
Because
how do you call that? Because that's worship.
Because
I'm offering, even though you're coming to see me, I'm charging you. It's still in the house of God. It's still under the reverence and the canopy and the umbrella of God.
You see, if we go to church, you and I, we go to church, we pray, we sing, we dance. Through that, some of us are healed. But listen carefully, when you say that, it's not even done on a Sunday. Everybody knows that we go to church on Sunday or Saturday, or depending on.
This is we go all day.
We go all day. Very good.
Which church do you have? Because it looks like you don't go.
No, I go to church
during the week too.
Yes,
I think we should be encouraging you so that you go.
Yes, you see, so the point is that if you say that, if I want to have a one-on-one with you, just as we sit here, I'm to pay 500. Okay, that is business.
Do you know that sometimes they advertise it?
Very good. You see, when they come and place the adverts here, I don't think it's for free. Those who come and preach on your TV, radio, you charge them. Okay, so the issue is that, you see, even if an organization is tax exempt, GRA has to get them to register and then file their returns at the end of the day. Because in their returns, you see, if it's a church, you see tithes and offerings, less maybe cost of running the church or whatever, security, this one, maybe net income or whatever. If there's other income as a result of the churches being involved in investment, getting involved in investment or business, those incomes will show.
Does it mean that most Orthodox churches in Ghana are not registered with the GRA?
I cannot say for sure, but I know that with this tax identification law, most of them have done yes, because like I mentioned, even as just a friendly, because they have bank accounts,
past students body
with the banks, and these days one of the requirement is that you should bring your business or whatever registration, and so we've had to do that before we've had access to our bank account.
Okay, we're discussing taxing the churches, whether it's a possibility at all. It's something that we have to fathom, and we already have tax experts Eric Kampotsabwatan, who apparently is telling us the law is explicit on which actions or workings or sections of the church could be taxed. But we're just probing further, and we want to bring you into the conversation. And that is why we want to open the phone lines, and the phone lines will be on your screens very soon. Please call in if you have an interest on the way churches operate and your own concerns, perceptions, and the opinion you have about whether churches need to be taxed. in what way do you think they need to be taxed? Because we're familiar with the way we're taxed or taxation in our country, one way or the other, either directly or indirectly. Please, the line is, two lines we have, 0302211 or 2. Again, 0302211 or 2. Let us hear from you. And I'm sure that many of you will bring us some incisive contributions to the discussion. But is the church operating in such a way that even though it has this cloak or perhaps umbrella of being a charitable organization, yes, perhaps some of its own activities or actions are more transactional or of commerce in nature?
You see, the idea is that they do not go in with intention to actually do business and earn income. Okay, but if along the line, through their activities, there's revenue, okay, coming in, of course, then we will have to match the revenue with what? Expenditure. And so when you match the two, either you make a loss or you make some profit. So that profit is subject to tax. You know, some argue that gifts, I'm sure you know, like in my church, for example, there's a day that we sometimes set aside. We want to appreciate our church pastor. To the extent that, I mean, some of us have even been able to put together money to buy a vehicle which goes, you see, if it goes to the office of the pastor, I don't have a problem with that. It goes directly to the pastor. The car is registered in his name, so gift tax has to come in.
You've done that before?
Yes, in my church, we've done that before. And I remember that when we're called, I said, oh, well, me, I don't think that is one I need to contribute. Because there are people in the church who are poor, even what to eat, the way they dress. So I raised that issue that why can't we do something like that? Because already the pastor.
Well, we have Maxwell Entry. Maxwell Entry is calling from Old Barrier. Good morning to you, Maxwell.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Where is Old Barrier specific? Is it in Kumasi or Accra?
No. It's in Accra. It's around going to the
Achimota?
Kaswa.
Kaswa Road. Okay, Kaswa Old Barrier. All right, please, let's know your contribution this morning. We're talking taxes and the church.
Yes. I would like to draw against their mind back to the olden days. Now, in my hometown, we have a Presbyterian church, we have an Anglican church, we have Catholic and Methodist church. Those days, when the church comes, because it is not for profit organization, the profit that they accrue, they use it to build schools, and then government will bring its teachers to teach in those schools. And it's like those things we're trying to weed off from our minds. Now, what do we see nowadays with pastors? When they build schools, they bring people, they run the same school, and they use that as a profit organization. So what we are trying to do is that the churches has failed. The churches has failed to build or do those amenities within the society. Now, if they have failed to do those things within the society, then where did those monies go? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I get you.
They have to be taxed. Since they fail to do those responsibilities, they have to be taxed. And at the end of the day, when it is not for profit organization, so when you make profit, where did it go? And then secondly, the moment you buy food, let's say oil, and then you sell the oil, it's a business. You are making business for profit. And for that reason, too, you're supposed to pay tax on that. So the churches have abbreviated from its way. Therefore, if you have abbreviated from your way, then to serve the nation, then you have to contribute to the nation for the government to run it. So I would like the government to find a way, or the JRA to find a way that all these people can be tasked.
All right.
Because in my hometown, we have a lot of Christian churches built by these Christian people. That is in the olden days. But these days, they have failed.
All right. So from Asankrigwa, we'll take a second one, then we'll come to you. Yeah, have you noted it down? From Asankrigwa, we have Justice Adam Dogbe. Good morning to you, Justice.
Good morning. In fact, these days, I think the churches are only running business and needed to be taxed.
Which aspects of the church do you want taxed? I mean, their activities, so to speak.
For instance, you take one church, someone who has a sticker, and says the sticker, you see some cars, the stickers, and they are very expensive. Those ones must be taxed. Then you look at some TV, the church is selling tiles, soda water, and all those ones. They needed to be taxed so that we can mobilize revenue for the state. The consultation will be somehow dicey because Ghanaians are not ready to be bold in revealing those things that they perceive to be spiritual. So when the person goes to the pastor, how do you know the person pays this? How much the person pays, the person might not be able to tell us. I think the GRA said if people are able to come up with those things, they will give the person something anyway. But I doubt if that will be successful. And there are churches who put up stores and they rent out to people for their businesses. I think those aspects of the churches should be, a church's business should be taxed. But for the tithe and offering, I doubt if that.
Yeah. You remind me, I know of one of the new churches now, and the pastor is a big pastor, has a church in Tema, but if you see the lined up stores just bordering the church building, I'm sure that they are not taxed because it's on the premises of the church. And they'll tell
those
you...
Those ones are supposed to be taxed.
All right.
Those aspects.
All right. Paul Williams.
Hello?
Paul Williams, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
You are calling from Asing Fosu.
Yes, please, sir.
Please, your contribution. We're talking taxes or taxation in the church. What's your opinion?
Yes, sir. Please, I was looking for this, but I've forgotten the decision. But if you could remember, there was a time when Jesus and his disciples were preaching, and they came across somebody who was using the name of Jesus in a wrong direction, but just watching the note of the person, in the sense that if only he's using the name, it's not bad. And another quotation says that a farmer went to do a seed, and the following day they saw that, or some weeks later, they saw that an evil weed has also joined. But Jesus said something that indeed they should allow all to grow. For at that day, the owner of the harvest himself will, take the right thing out of it. What I want to say is that concerning this thing, as a matter of fact, the government has got it wrong. It's not right at all. In the sense that no man has the power over the work of God. No man. We should leave it into the hands of God. For at that day, he's going to judge. That's what the Bible says.
So your argument is that the churches should not be taxed?
Yes, it shouldn't be at all. It should not come at all. We should leave it for God. Because I want to ask you a question, please. Have you seen a church? Hello?
Please go ahead, sir.
Yes, please. Have you seen, even beyond all these things that the evil men of God are doing, have we come across a church having a problem that the government has been serving before? That never happened before. But meanwhile, they are in the system. That shows that whatever they are doing, God is watching them. I don't think they are going to account for it. But as I stand here, I believe for this one, the government has got it wrong. It shouldn't be this way at all. We should leave it. That's what the Bible declares about the work of God. We have the evil people in, the good people in, and we should leave it for God alone. The law is that no man has the power over the work of God, whether good or bad. As for that one, we should leave it for God.
Okay, Mr. Williams. That's a very sensitive comment. You look like somebody who is emotional about the subject, but it's in order. Elvis Entry is calling us from Kumasi. Good morning to you, Mr. Entry.
Good morning, sir.
Elvis, please go ahead. What's your opinion on this? Which side of the debate are you?
Please, I think the churches might be tough.
You think
Someone
so?
asked me, why am I saying this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Sechedumasi, and then where I attended a Presbyterian church. You understand? The money they get for success, they use in building this school, which I benefited from it. But now let's look at the churches we have now. They are selling anointing oil, which they are making profit from it. I ask myself, when someone sells anointing oil in a big store, is the person tax or not? The answer is the person is tax. So why is it that when you sell anointing in your church, you cannot tax?
Okay.
Therefore, these things they sell.
Elvis, we seem to be having some difficulty with your line, but we got to the import of your contribution there. It looks like largely people just making the comparison with the Orthodox Church and the current Protestants and evangelicals that we have, charismatic as we call them. Just give us your viewpoint on some of the things that you listen out there from the callers.
Oh, okay. You see, when you say that an institution or a religious body is of a public nature or a character, what it means is that whatever monies, tithes, offerings that they get, because they use them to build schools, hospitals, and the like, that is why the Commissioner General has given them that, let's say, dispensation, so that the tithes and offerings that they get are not subject to tax, because those are the ones that they use to build those schools. And normally anything that is of a public nature, you don't ask people to pay tax on it. And so once you digress from that, then the Commissioner General, like I mentioned earlier on, can now revoke it so that the income that they make will be subject to tax. One other person mentioned that we should leave it to God. I mean, we don't know. So if a one-man church pastor who says he's had a calling, and then he invites people maybe on a weekday to his office, he's there alone. I've been to a place where, when you go, they will give you, there's a small
Slip.
a slip or a wooden, they've numbered them.
Like
so when
chip.
you go,
like
you
a
pay.
wooden chip.
Yeah, a wooden chip. When you go, you pay. That is, so even the pastor, he thinks that somebody can cheat. I mean, the
So you're saying it's well logged?
Yes.
There's proper logging to make sure that nobody...
So that when you go...
For accountability.
You give him your, your piece of wood.
The chip.
So at the end of the day, if he gets 20, he knows that everybody pays 50. So my money. When you go to him, he will pray with you. And he said that, oh, buy handkerchief, buy ordinary water, let me bless it. And then his wife, or probably the church worker, is there. And you know what they do is that they sell it even more than the price that you can get on the open market. Because you've gone there.
But that's a special water.
Very good.
So it should be more expensive. It's normal.
Yes, so the point I'm making that it is what business. They are making money. And therefore they should be able to account and then file their whatever with the GRE. The other issue, well, I probably shouldn't even go there, but now we are saying I want to build a cathedral. Okay, yes.
Go there.
Okay, it's a very good thing to do. What we know now is that we have a board of trustees. It's an eminent, Ghana, we like using big titles and words. Eminent persons. The names there are so weird. These are people. So I'm told that they are going to contribute to build. That should tell you that the churches, they make a lot of money. Because if they can contribute...
What's the cost of the cathedral? I haven't heard it.
For now, we don't have the figures because I hear...
But you look at the design, you know that it will be expensive.
It will be very, 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 very... The finishing... You see? And so for now, we have digressed from the past where the church was of a public nature, so that all of us can benefit. Because if there's a school, even if I pay for it, you know that at least the profits of the church or the tithes that they got were monies that were used to build those hospitals and schools, for which anybody can go there, whether you're a Christian, non-Christian, Muslim. So I think that the GRE must sit up and then be able to delve more into the activities of the churches.
Well,
they
thank you.
need to monitor them closely.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much. We have to let you go, but we're happy that you were able to pass through the studio to contribute to this whole discussion. And it's out there not only on Facebook, but also other social media as well as other mainstream media platforms. Thank you very much. We'll
Okay, but just before I go, let me say a good morning to my Mobile 83 guys. I know they are watching. And then the Matured Kingdom is a group that we formed and we do very well. We'll be making a donation.
Kingdom.
Yes, Matured Kingdom. It's
a group, just a
it's a
normal
group,
social,
it's a socialist, but
social.
we are also doing something that is of public nature, because we are making a donation to the whole leprosarium.
Wow.
Yes, next month.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you very much too. And we've had Eric Amponsa Boating, and he's a tax consultant, and we're grateful that he made his way here. But as we end the conversation, in the United States, it may be worth shaking up conventional wisdom, and that's from a Forbes article I'm reading currently. It says, for generations, churches have been exempted from income taxes. What's more, all 50 states in the U.S. and the District of Columbia have even given them a pass on property taxes too. And it's also up for debate in the United States, because some of them even live in $7 million mansions, etc., and many of them tax-free. But, well, what do you think? And talking about where you can meet God, it's this evening. It's the Adum Praise 2018 event taking place at the Perez Dome, just right here in Accra. And please make sure that you buy the tickets. If you go to the front page, the front desk of Joy FM, you also get to have the ticket. You can also come here as well as other outlets. And just from 6 Ghana cities, you get to have musicians like Aben from Nigeria. We have Dinah Hamilton, William and Mike. Or William Mike, as they call them, and a number or a host of other musicians as well. We have an in-house choir. We call them multimedia choir. Please, they'll be present. Well, as you wait for that, Dinah Hamilton is in the studio. We'll be speaking to her, and we'll be getting some great information. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.